I want to show you two ways that you can do the flat felled seam. If you go on YouTube, there's lots of different ways to do that they show it, and I want to show you the only two ways that I think is acceptable. Okay, some are like the home sewer's way, and it doesn't make a strong stitch, so these are going to be the only two constructions I will allow. And I'm going to ask you guys to make a sample just like this. So you're just going to cut just small little rectangles so you can practice the technique before you sew it onto your onto your prototype. And you're going to bring it in tomorrow, next week as well. Okay. So the first, also in today's classroom, Google Classroom that I uploaded for today's assignment, there's two videos. One is our lecture for today. The second is like a walkthrough of a guy sewing the denim that I think is very close to what we would do. So you can follow along if you're having some trouble, but he does it in the way that I think is a good way. So just in case this isn't enough, there's another video on Google. Okay, so we're gonna pretend like that's the back yoke and then this is the back. I'm gonna ask you to have your right side, and I want you to diamond out the back side so we know that that's the twill side, so you practice, okay? So on the correct sides, you're going to put, this is one way. For this one, this version, the seam allowance is 1/2 inch. On the other one, it's 5/8 inch, okay? Version 1, so 1/2 inch. You can draw out the seams with like chalk or invisible ink. And you're going to just line it up. Just line it up to the edge. Okay? Line it up to the edge. Flat. And then you're going to just sew close to the edge, about 1/8 inch, but you're not going to measure it. Just go about 1/8 inch in about. Okay. And flip it around, and you're going to see this little flap. Okay. What we need to do is tuck this flap up. And it tucks this flap down and this flap tucks up. Let me go back. Let me do this nicely. And I'm gonna need someone to press this for me. So we're gonna take this and you're going to flip it up. It should be on that fold line, on the seam line that we drew earlier. Just make sure that the seam allowance is tucked in nicely. Honestly, we should probably press this. Can you press this for me? Just. Doesn't need to be tidy. Just get it done. If a little bit of the seam allowance is poking out, just trim it a bit. We just want to make sure it's tucked in to both sides. Okay, and then, oops.
Nên kêu phần lại về dân đang ngồi con nhỏ đang hai nhưng phải cái bờ hai mơ mọi người hai Khéo mấy đứa chồng tóc xuống cái chân đầu. Không biết mai ôi. Đây cái hiện tại là lại tới nạn rồi. Không phải xây sai hoặc sao xây con nạn đó.
Do it better than me. Okay. What you can do when you come to the seam allowance, to keep it like the same consistent width for the double stitch, also to like save time a bit, you can just come up, count how many. I'm gonna do like 3.
I tried to.
And then you can come back down. This is really messy. Wild. That was the worst one I've ever done. Okay, and you're just gonna make sure it's nice and clean. And then you have your yolk. Well, that's not clean, but we're gonna make sure it's pressed nicely, okay? So this is option number 1 that you can do for your yolk if you're gonna do half of an inch seam allowance.